really coming down now. This is the top of the tent. And you can actually see where it's resting on the inner. Look at that. So pull it off it. Look at that, it's stuck. I won't send them that picture. Right, I found my site. There's a long walk in. It's pretty horrible. It's kind of drizzly, but I got sweaty and it looks like there's rain coming. Big wind. Okay, so what I've got to do, I've got to set my tarp and tent up. The tent, oh, and here's Brucie. Did you come and say hello? Hey, come and say hello. Thanks. Let's get on with that. I'm in a nice little spot, protected in this little grove. Got a stream right next to me. So I've got fresh water supply. So I just need to get on with this, get it done before this rain kicks in. Okay, I'm going to set the tent up first. I've never used this tent. Naturehike sent it to me, asked me to test it out for them. It's got instructions built into the bag. Looks pretty straightforward. Let out flat, get the poles ready. Thread the poles through. Poles are colour coded, I think. Yeah, 2 poles. So you just feed it through. Now, I didn't have time to take this tent out before. I didn't have time to test it at home either, so you should always test them really. If anything, just to make sure all the gear is there as promised, what you bought. Simple connector. Alright. It's just starting to rain, so I've got to get a move on with this. From the factory, it obviously comes set up tight for some reason. Okay. That's the poles in. Right, instructions say now peg the 4 corners. Okay. Okay, so peg the 4 corners. Won't go fully in yet. Alright, got the makings of a tent. Well, it's up. Well, this tree here, this is called toot. It's invasive weed. And it's toxic to animals. So whenever you find this stuff, you better get rid of it. Tooting. If you Google, there's a story of when a circus came to New Zealand years and years and years ago. I don't know how many years, but it was a long time ago. And the elephants saw this toot and thought, ah, this tastes good. So they ate it. And they all died. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing now. Right, there are vents front and back. Is there a vent arm? No. That's got a mesh there. Okay. This will just twist the vent into shape. It's a bit saggy in the middle. I think you've got to pull it tight somehow. Okay, what's next? Guy lines. Oh no, you can just peg out the corners, you don't have to guy it. Okay, so I don't really want to guy it if I don't have to. Not a fan of guys because you just trip over them all night. Of course, if it's going to be chucking down with rain, then yeah. Okay, so I think you can pull these at a slight angle. Yep. Okay. I think I am going to have to guy this out because that's just so saggy. Okay, so the problem I've got is the middle here just isn't tight. So you have to guy these tops out, you've got no choice. So I'm going to have to do that. If it was snowing, yeah, that would be a serious issue. You've got to guy it out. Right, so I guess I'll have to get on with this then. Just doesn't do it. So I guess you end up with this saggy tent in the middle. That's not good. That's no good for anything. That's going to touch the inside. I can already feel the inside. That's just not going to work. That's not going to be any use to me. There's got to be a way to bring this forward. So the problem is it's so tight here and here that you can't make it tight. I don't know what to do with that. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. Naturehike. What am I doing wrong? Well, if anyone's watching this from Naturehike, what the heck are you meant to do here? I don't know if you can see that. The top's just loose. It is impossible to get it tight. Okay, well, first problem. Naturehike cloud tent. Cloud tunnel. This is just flimsy. That's rubbish. Absolute rubbish. I'm not missing anything. There is no way to pull that tight. There's nothing here to connect to. I can't begin to tell you what a problem that can be. And I haven't missed anything on the instructions. Everything's in the right loop. What to do now? Do I still use it? Yeah, I'm going to have to. Luckily, I've got a tarp with me as well. If this fails, then yeah, I've got my tarp. Alright, you know what? I'm going to set the tarp up because this is going to drive me crazy. Spending too much time already looking at it. What a pile of rubbish. Glad I didn't pay for this. They sent it to me for free to test it. Oh, Naturehike, fail already. Shocker. Now I bought a lot of, see, guy lines. That's why I hate them. Trip over them all the time. Bruce gets caught up in them. At night time, they're a nightmare. And this is why I have, I've made a right cock up of this. This is why I have orange paracord, because you see it, especially at night. Can't lose it. Don't get green. Unless you're trying to be ultra stealthy, don't get green. Alright, there's a log behind the tent here that I can use to tie it up against. Alright. Ridgeline. Set up. Oh shit, see? There it goes. So Naturehike, if you're watching. No. This tent is not good enough. Recall them all. Go back to the drawing board. If you're trying to copy the Hilberg Namage, this is not it. This is not how you do it. It's going to be sunny, great. But sorry. What I do, no use. You only going out, oh, comes the wind. You're only going out in decent conditions. Yeah, okay, maybe then. Oh my god, these guy lines. Yeah, terrible. Alright, here comes the rain. I need to get this tarp set up quickly. Bruce. We'll do a crosset knot. One, two, three. Should hold. Right, that will bind, but it will also move quite easily. So let's calculate how far back I need to do this. Okay, and then I need to do another crosset knot at the back and then we're sorted. Okay, so I just need to guide down the ends and we're good. Alright, how's that looking under there? Not bad. You hear the goats? It's goats. Bruce, leave the goats. Let them go. It's okay. No. Bruce, no. Hey. Oh, he has to go. Bruce, no. Come on. Leave him alone. Good boy. I'm quite liking this. Get my seat set up, sit under here, chill out. I could probably bring it forward a bit more as well. Oh, that's better. Okay. I've given myself more headroom. As long as I'm sitting here, I'm protected from the wind, rain if any happens. I'd love a bit more room, but I've got nowhere to tie it off to. So when you've only got one ridge line, this is all you can really do. I can't really make the ridgeline any higher either. And it is very taut already. I think that's all I'm going to be able to do. Okay. One more trick up my sleeve, and then that's it. There's one more point I can mount it to. Okay, plenty of room now. Great. Alright, I'm going to get my gear in, get my chair set up, and then come back to you then. I know. Alright, we're all set up. I've got room. I don't like that it flaps down a bit, but there doesn't seem to be anything I can do to make this taut. The seams that would make it taut run the other way, so it just sort of flaps a bit, but I've got loads of room, so it doesn't bother me that much. I think it's to do with the material. It just won't go tight. That's the this is the DD hammock tarp, and you know I'm not a big fan of it. I only bought it because it's square shaped. So it's Bruce's dinner time. You haven't seen a whole lot of Bruce. Paracord there. Hang on, Brucie, sit. So Bruce has a high protein diet. Here comes the rain. Go on then, Bruce. Oh, I'm tired. That was a hard walk in. I'm a bit damp under my top. But you know what? I am desperate for a beer. This is a garage project, party and BS. Cheers. Nice. Still a bit early. So early. But I think I can have a cigar. It's cigar time. Monte Cristo number 5. Very nice. You had your dinner, Bruce. Is that nice? Good boy. Oh, man. No, I really want to find a way to push this all out like that. And I just can't think of a way to do it, because there's no tie-off point. There's one here, and there's one opposite over there, but I don't think that's going to work. Let me give it a try. You'll be able to see if it works, because it will pop up. Oh yeah, one side works. Okay, I'll do the other side. How's that? Oh, fixed it. Okay, So I used the tie-off point up here and tie-off point up here. Luckily there were 2 trees. And now I feel like it's twice the space, twice the big. Amazing. Okay, all good. Yeah, it's a good setup. I wish I had another square tarp because I don't like the material of the DD. My 3FUL, that's a good material. I think it's silicone. I'm not sure what this material is, but I do prefer that. So the Naturehike tunnel tent, it's touching the roof. The inner is sagging and touching the inside. So that's going to have condensation on it all night. Might be dripping on me, I don't know. But that's a big fail. And I honestly cannot see a way to stop that from happening. Terrible design. They've obviously tried to copy the Hilberg Namage, but the end points here don't actually pull in the correct spot. They don't pull the top bit forward. So it's actually pooling up there, the water. Useless. Oh well. Hey Brucie. You can't see Bruce, he's right under the camera. Just lying there, having fun. You're getting all the smoke on you. So this is a no fire zone where I am. So yeah, it's a shame, can't have a fire. Would be nice. But I've got my Trangia and I've got loads of fuel. I'm doing a 1-nighter only. So Trangia makes you feel warm and cozy up next to it. Brucie, being silly. Sorry about the smoke. So those of you that subscribe and follow me will have seen the post with my gear and Bruce lying next to it. Hey Brucie. I drove 3 hours. I prepared for quite a long time for this trip that I attempted to do. Drove for 3 hours to get to the mountains, and it's a 3.5 hour hike straight up like that. And I knew it was going to rain. Forecast said rain. I saw what the levels were going to be. Now unfortunately I left late that morning, and I probably left, I'd say, 3 hours late. So when I was about an hour up this thing and I was soaked, I realized I wasn't going to make it in time for before dark. Now, if it was just me doing it, I would have carried on. But because I had Bruce with me, I don't want to hike on a mountain in the dark with Bruce, because I might lose him. And I don't put him on a lead. You know, I do have a lead with me, but I'm not going to walk on a mountain with Bruce on the lead. It's just too much effort. And too much can go wrong, and you need to be able to see your footing properly and what you're doing. And when you're walking with a headlamp, it's not good. Sense of depth and everything is gone. So it's pretty dangerous. So I had to make a decision what to do. I thought, well, I could camp just in the forest that I was climbing up, but that's not the trip that I wanted to do. That's not what I planned. It's not what I wanted. It's not what I thought you'd want to see either. You know, a compromise. So I called it, and I went home, and I was gutted, but it was the right move, because then big storm hit, and the South Island of New Zealand got hit very hard. Christchurch is still suffering now, I think. So it was the right call, and because I had Bruce with me, I had to play it safe. So be it. Isn't that right, Brucie? There he is now. I have to put his little light on soon so I can see him. It's almost pitch black out there. Not quite yet, but getting there. Okay, so my plan today is cook up some good food, have a few beers, and I want to talk to you about how I went from investment banking to being a YouTuber. I did send out a post asking if people were interested. A few people weren't. I think one guy said he'd rather watch paint dry. Okay, fair enough. You don't have to watch it. But I'll put that in there when I'm ready. But right now I'm going to enjoy this cigar and my beer. He's a mess. And here comes the rain. So, I managed to tighten up the tent a bit more. So it's not as saggy, but it's still not completely taut. There's 3 guide points at the back that you've really got to tighten, like majorly tighten, just to get it, just to go taut enough. So it seems to be holding, it seems to be better. It's not pooling now, which is good. It's just about touching the inner, but not just, well, almost. Thing is, that's fine, but if there was any snow, forget it. There's no way this tent can handle snow. Just no chance. No. Windy. Really windy. I don't know if you're picking up the movement of the tarp. It's bellowing on this side. So I have to say, when it's raining, you can see all the water coming off the tarp. That's a cold wind. But it's not really getting to me. So here's the thing, with this setup, being like that, as opposed to my usual setup, it's giving me this wind block on the sides. And the reason I've done this is because, as you can see, this is a long tent. So if I wanted to, I could move right back here, like so. Got the extra wind protection here and the wind protection from the tarp itself. And totally rainproof. From me to the camera is completely under tarp. That's got to be at least 6 foot. At least 6 feet. I'd say 7 feet. So this is a good space, good size space. You know, if you wanted just 2 of you and your dog, like him, on his little sleeping pad, he doesn't need that. I've made him lie on that. I just want him to be on a nice dry surface. Yeah, plenty of room. This is a 3 by 3 meter tarp, so it's the perfect size. Yeah. We will see. I don't know how much rain we're due. I don't think it's much. It's been raining for days, and I haven't managed to get out. As I said, I was going to go up the mountain, but didn't make it. And he was so gutted. He was really looking forward to that. But he's being a bit pampered on this trip, because it's not that cold, even though I can see my breath. It's single digits centigrade, but not that cold. A fire would be really nice, but yeah, no fire zone. Yeah, he was really gutted. I could just tell when I said no, calling it, let's go home. He was like, oh, because he wanted, you know, go out camping. It's his favourite thing. But he's happy to be here. If I didn't ask him to come and lie down now and make him like this, he'd be out running around in the rain. I'll let him go later. When I'm cooking dinner, he can go. He's had his dinner. He can't have any of the dinner I'm having tonight, and you'll see why later. I'm liking this setup. This tent is huge. I'll tell you something, if this is a two-person tent, no, I don't know what I've been doing all these years. You could easily fit. You could fit 3 people in there. 3 sleeping pads, no problem at all. I don't know why it says it's a 2-person tent. Maybe it says 2 to 3 people. And it's got almost a 4-season inner, but it's not quite. But it does have a full mesh door. But I'll review that later. I'll show it to you later. Yeah. I've got another couple of toys here. This beast, the FENIX LR50R flashlight. Google it now. On it, and it's a brick. I tell you, this thing weighs so much. Go and Google it now while I'm just talking about it. The FENIX, F-E-N-I-X. So you know I wear the headlamp they sent me. And they sent me this to review. The LR50R. This thing is insane. Think of your car main beam. This is brighter. And look at the size of it. It's so compact, but it is heavy. Let me show you how bright this flashlight is. So I've walked around to a paddock and I've got my spotlight, my headlight on full blast. And you can probably just make out trees and stuff like that. Now I'm going to put the flashlight, this FENIX LR50R, on turbo mode. Check this out. How crazy is that? This isn't just bright. This is insane. As I said, this thing has a 900-meter range. It is crazy bright. Look at that. You can see this paddock, all the pig damage. They've torn the thing up. I'm just in here, tucked away. Tucked around the corner there. You can't even see my camp. It's so well camouflaged. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So powerful. Definitely recommend having one of these in the car. It's very expensive, but I mean, it's just crazy bright. As I say, it's used for search and rescue, but it's very cool. Oh, and there's a little Brucie. I don't want to shine it right at him because it could blind him. What do you think, Bruce? Do you like this? What's this? Do you like the light? Hey, do you like it? I'm not going to shine it at you because it's dangerous for your eyes. Anyway, there you go. Recommend it. FENIX LR50R. Just so you see what it's like here without the light on. That's what it's like. That's with my headlight on full blast. And here's the light. Crazy. And it's got multiple modes. So you don't have to have it on turbo. You can have it on slightly blinding, a bit more blinding, and dim. That's better, isn't it? Slightly blinding, completely blinding, or just burn the bark off your face. Oh, that's so bright. Yeah, it's a cool light. Recommend it. It's like the main beam on your car. In fact, probably stronger. Unreal. Unreal. And yeah, I've got my FENIX headlamp that I'm using. Some other companies have sent me some headlamps that I'm going to review. But I'll be honest with you, I've already tested them. And they haven't done very well. But I might do that in a separate one, take them with me somewhere and show you what I'm talking about. I still, out of all the headlamps I've got and tried, including my LED lenser, which is, you know, it's a fantastic headlamp, this is still the best headlamp, this FENIX. Yeah, so a few bits of gear. Got a new sleeping pad, the Amok sleeping pad, that's to go with my Amok hammock. Gone out. The reason I bought that with me is it's a longitudinal hammock, sleeping pad. So the strips run the length of it for support in the Amok hammock. Yeah, so the Amok hammock pad, the winter one. But what occurred to me was, excuse the smoke, the wind has stopped now. What occurred to me was that because it does that, actually when you're sleeping in a tent on the ground, it's easier to cocoon yourself so you don't roll off. My Thermarest, Neo Air X-Therm and others, as brilliant as they are, and I do love my Max, Thermarest Neo Air Max, X-Therm Max, the vanes run widthways, so it sort of folds you lengthways, but it doesn't support you from falling off the edge of it. Do you see what I mean? If the ground isn't level. This, I've got a feeling it will. So I'll show you that later when we're in there as well. And I've got my quilt, and I've got my trusty Trangia, I've got my hybrid mix of fuel. Looks very cloudy. It's half hand sanitizer, half methylated spirits, ethanol, and some other bits and bobs. Yeah, so it's still early. I know I said this already. I'm going to finish my beer, finish my cigar, and then think about dinner. Temperature's dropped. It's pretty cold now. I think it's time for me to put some dinner on. And for dinner tonight, I actually pre-prepared something, so it's kind of cheating, but it goes with pasta, and I do have to cook up the pasta. So he's got his light on, but he's chosen to come and sit here. Don't know why. Happy to have my company, I guess. Isn't that sweet? There's got to be a reason. Something must have spooked him out there. Just wait till he hears a possum, then he'll... I don't know if you've seen him in our last videos of what he does. But he will... he'll go in the tent if he does. I have to dry him off first though, because he's soaking wet. So tonight for dinner I am having a sausage meat ragu. Now, I was going to cook that here, as in make it all up here fresh. The reason I haven't done that is it's quite a faff, and I really wanted the meal. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to lug it in here. It's only a one-nighter. I can handle that. So that's what I'm going to do. So I made it in advance. all ready to go. I just need to cook up the pasta. So I need a flame on, and I need to go and get some water from the stream. There we go. Okay, that will take a little while to get up to temperature. So while it's doing that, I'm just going to go and fill up my Nalgene from the stream. Should be enough water. Got to get that up to the boil. Quickest way to do that is put the lid on. Right, so I'm going to let that come up to boil. And while that is happening, while we do the pasta, let's talk about how I went from investment banking, how I got into investment banking, to how I ended up a YouTuber. And hopefully I can get this whole story done by the time this is ready for the pasta. It's cold. Hands are cold. So I guess first things first, how did I get into investment banking? Oh, well, I don't have a degree. What happened was I dropped out of college. I found it a complete waste of time and I sort of rebelled a bit. I was doing a business degree and yeah, I just didn't get on with the whole college thing. And what happened at the same time was there was a job in a software company that came up, and I went to talk to them, and it was to move to London. And actually I got the job, even without a degree. So did this job for a few years, traveled all over the world with them, designing, working on their software, and their software was for fixed income and equity trading, which, if you know anything about investment banking, that's part of what they do, the trading aspect, the capital markets side of it. And obviously working on that software, I got to work at the banks through this software company, and I got to meet lots of people in the banks. And what happened was, while I was doing that, I went for an interview for a job at an investment bank called Securities. And I got the job based on my aptitude test. And that was actually working with this software. So that's how I started investment banking, basically on the trade floor, designing bond arbitrage, trading systems, Securities. Then after Securities, I got headhunted to CSFP, Credit Suisse Financial Products, and then got headhunted to Goldman Sachs. So I was at Goldman Sachs in London, designing these products. Anyway, I started seeing, who is now my wife, Anne. And she had already planned to go and travel around Asia and Australia. But I couldn't just drop everything at the time, so she went off and did that. And later, I just decided, right, you know what? I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to jack it in at Goldman Sachs, and I'm going to go to Hong Kong. So I went to Hong Kong and managed to get a contracting job at that software company again for the banks in Asia. So I did that for a couple of years, traveling around Asia, designing front-end trading systems for the banks. But I was working for the software company, contracting to them. And one day in Singapore, I went out for drinks with my friend who worked at Morgan Stanley. And I had worked with him while he was at Lehman Brothers and I was at this software company. Tibco is the company now, it's called. It was Technicron before. he said, come on and have drinks with us. Meet my boss. We're going to go out for drinks. So we went out for drinks in Singapore, in the pub. We'd had quite a few, and then his boss said to me, he said, what would it take for you to come back to Hong Kong from Singapore and join Morgan Stanley? We're the biggest investment bank in the world. Come on, what would it take? I said, oh, come on, this is a joke. He said, no, come on, just humour me. What would it take? And I said, oh, it would take this and this and this and housing and flights and everything else. And he pulled out a piece of paper and put it on the list to mean like this. And they had set the whole thing up. There was the offer. So I joined permanently Morgan Stanley. The other banks that I worked at, I'd contracted at. I wasn't actually an employee. I was private, my own company, and contracted to them. So this was my first job actually being employed by a bank, and it was Morgan Stanley in Hong Kong. So I uprooted from Singapore and moved to Hong Kong. Now, in Hong Kong, at Morgan Stanley, I again worked on the trade floor. But I did several different types of jobs. I worked on the trade floor. I ran a new private equity setup, and then went back into the trade floor to design and set up algorithmic trading. It was a new thing based on top of electronic trading. Now, for the layman out there, all of the equity markets, when you buy and sell shares, is mainly driven now by very large hedge funds, arbitrage funds who trade electronically using algorithms that decide when to buy or sell certain shares based on certain parameters. So I ran that for Morgan Stanley in Asia. And then I made a move to Japan, again with Morgan Stanley, that's where the algorithmic trading was headquartered, and then ran the whole lot from there. So I was enjoying that, and I was enjoying Morgan Stanley, but some of my bosses had moved over to Lehman Brothers from New York. They'd moved over to Lehman Brothers. And I'd been at Morgan Stanley now 10 years. And I thought, yeah, you know what? Maybe it's time for a change. So they headhunted me over to Lehman Brothers. So I went to Lehman Brothers. I resigned from Morgan Stanley and joined Lehman Brothers. Oh, what a great move that turned out to be. Yeah, Bruce is bored of the story. So at Lehman Brothers, same thing. Had to set up algorithmic trading. They already had a good setup there, but they needed help to make it better. We built the team right up. And then obviously, boom, Lehman Brothers. If you don't know what happened to Lehman Brothers, you never heard of it, Google it. So I was there in Tokyo the day it went down. The new global head of Lehman Brothers was there in Tokyo as well. And the decision was made. That's it. I'm not going to survive. So that Monday morning, I had to call all my clients who were institutional clients. I didn't deal with private clients. I dealt with institutions, governments as well. My biggest client was the government of China, State Administration Foreign Exchange Fund. It's $1 trillion fund. So I had to call them up. I had to explain to all these clients to DK your trades. In other words, don't know your trades, because we were cut off. Lehman Brothers was cut off around the world. All the exchanges cut us off. So we couldn't settle any of our trades anyway, which is what caused so much of the carnage afterwards, was just the stupidity of the authorities in these different markets that didn't let us settle all these trades. So I think I was at Lehman Brothers for just about a year. And yeah, it went under. It wasn't my fault, honestly. That all happened in New York. So then it's like, well, what do we do? I had quite a big team at that point. And several banks made propositions. They flew out, we met, and I talked to these banks. There are a handful, of five banks that we were in discussions with. But one bank in particular offered anything we wanted, would keep the whole team together and would give them all pay rises and look after all of them, and would give us cash guaranteed for 3 years. But none of the other banks were willing to do that for the whole team. They would only do that for me and a couple of the senior traders. And, you know, when you've got a team, you've got to look after your team. So I did that. I took that job at Mizuho in Tokyo for the whole team. And we set about building up an entire algorithmic trading division within the equity division at Mizuho in Tokyo. And over the 3 years, we achieved as much as we could given the bureaucracy that exists in a Japanese bank. None of us had experienced anything like it before. It was unbelievably difficult to get anything done. Human resources ran the whole show. They know where the bodies are buried. They're in charge. And we just couldn't get anything done. It was a slog. And I was getting more and more fed up. And I just thought, what am I doing here? Yes, we were earning fantastic money, but we wanted to achieve. We were high achievers. And we wanted to build something great. And it wasn't happening. And in the end, I started looking around again. But just as I was looking around, a huge Sendai earthquake happened. And the tsunami and everything that followed. And in one of my other videos I explain what happened. But basically, it made me think twice about what I'm doing, about life. Now, we had just finished building a house in New Zealand. It was meant to be our holiday house. Bruce, stop. It was meant to be our holiday home. But also like a bug out place. So I thought, okay, we're going to leave Japan. Long story short, we left Japan after a month of this carnage and nuclear crisis and everything else. We came to New Zealand and I thought I'll stay here for 6 months, go to the Rugby World Cup, blah, 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 go back to investment banking. Well, the longer I was here, the longer I decided, I decided to stay and not go back to banking. I'd learned a lesson there that life's too short. It wasn't worth it. The money is great, but at what cost? How many nice cars can you have? The line from Wall Street, how many boats can you own? How many boats can you ski behind? So we did something different. We set up a lodge, a luxury lodge here in our house. And we marketed that, built that business up, and it's done extremely well. Number one in the market where we are. And then COVID happened. International business stopped, the borders went up in New Zealand, and of course, luxury lodges. I mean, no one was going to come from overseas. But at that exact timing, my dad was diagnosed with cancer, and he was in the UK. So I decided to fly back and take care of him. And I was there for 5 months. And while I was there, Bruce, no. And while I was there, I did some soul searching. And I'd made some camping videos in the past and put them on YouTube. Not for other people, but actually as a repository just to store the videos. But I happened to go on there, and I saw that people were actually watching them. And I thought, you know what? I'd just been watching Casey Neistat and everyone else on YouTube, and I was really enjoying it. I thought, well, why don't I do this? Why don't I give it a go? See what I can do. So I bought camera and everything else while I was over in London. Edited some of my old videos, re-uploaded them, and they got some traction. I thought, wow, this is great. Okay. So in the UK, I got COVID just before I left. A couple of weeks before I left the UK, I got COVID. I had to say goodbye to my dad. My brother was coming over we swapped over. He looked after my dad. And I came back to New Zealand. And I had all the equipment now, and tent and everything else, and I thought, right, I'm going to go camping and just see what happens. Now, YouTube is it's a funny old game. Oh look, it's almost boiling. It's a funny old game. The algorithm has to find you. The algorithm has to basically push you out there so that you get views. You've got to be discovered. You've got to go viral. Okay? And one of my videos, camping in torrential rain, I think it was, suddenly, out of nowhere, it had a few views, a few thousand. It suddenly went nuts. It went like this. Suddenly I started getting all these subscribers. I thought, wow, it's pretty cool. So I did another couple of videos. And my subscriber count kept going up. And then when you hit 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of view time, you can be monetized and be legitimate and make money from it. So I thought, okay, we're almost there. And then it hit 1,000 subscribers and I was absolutely staggered. I thought, okay, let's see where this goes. Let's see what happens now that I'm monetized. Let's see what happens with these videos. And I thought, what I'm going to do is, this is my plan. I'm going to stick to doing as much high quality camping videos as I can. Long videos, as if people were really camping with me. Take them along for the ride. What is an entire camping session, in the rain in particular? Because I like the sounds of the rain, the environment you have to set up, you have to have the tarp and everything else. You have to beat the elements. Like now, it's actually cold now. I don't know if you can see my breath, but it's freezing cold. It really is cold. It's winter here in New Zealand now. And I like camping with my dog, and I thought, well, people might like my dog as well, Bruce. So I'm going to stick to my camping videos. I'm going to do as many in the rain and tough conditions as possible, because I think people will want to see that. And maybe they'll learn something from it. And if I make some money from it, then so be it. So then I came up with a bunch more videos. I did a few more trips, and suddenly I was really discovered by YouTube. And look at that. What timing was that? Oh, we're misting up in here now. Yeah, the pasta. So I was discovered, and people were really enjoying the content. And yes, Bruce, no, go away. Yes, there are adverts, but that's my only source of income now. That's it. That's all I do. And that's what enables me to keep doing this. You know, you've got to pay for all these things, this gear, fuel costs, everything else. And after working out what I need to do and finding my little niche of camping in the rain and maybe camping in the snow now that winter's here, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. And I've gone from investment banking to tourism to being a YouTuber. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It helps that I made good money when I was investment banking, obviously. It helps that I've had the experience of running my own business with the lodge, because you get to meet a lot of people, you get to learn a lot of things. But mainly, it probably helps that I was experienced at camping. I think what happened during COVID, people were stuck at home. They needed a release, and camping is a good release. It really is. It's nice to sit there and watch someone being able to enjoy the outdoors, maybe defy the elements. And New Zealand, we're blessed with a beautiful country with all sorts of elements, it has to be said. And so it's not actually that much of a chore to do these things, because, well, New Zealand provides. And now this is what I do. So what is my long-term plan? Oh, well, my short-term plan is not to get completely steamed out. Oh dear, look at that. Don't know how I can avoid that. Let me put the lid back on. There, is that better? I hope so. That's one downside of this tent, this tarp setup, is that everything is concentrated right here. There's not enough breeze to blow it away. So what's my long-term plan? Is to keep making these. Keep doing these, and as long as people want to watch them. As long as people enjoy watching me and Bruce, who is going nuts with the light just beside the camera. Bruce, why don't you come here? Come and lie on your bed. Hey, why don't you come and lie on your bed? Just for a bit. Just for a little bit. Why don't you come and lie down? Or lie next to the bed. Yeah, I'll keep making them as long as you want to see them. There you go. If you guys, if you have suggestions, requests, as long as they're polite, as to what you'd like to see or change or whatever, I'm pretty much open to things, and I'll think about it, genuinely. But we are fogging up in here. This is a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to you when the pasta's finished. Pasta's done. I'm just heating up my sauce with my sausage meat ragu. Now, this might be a bit too hot, this flame. So I'm going to use the simmering. What that does is just takes out that bloom, the extra heat, so you can really simmer stuff properly without it burning. So I just need to get that warmed up gently. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to warm it up with the pasta in. Pasta. Just going to leave that on top. It's time for brew number 2. And we've got a Deep Creek Hazy Pale Ale. He's come back and stayed here now. Guess he likes it under this tarp. Nice. That garage project was very good. I think they're pretty well known, garage project. Tell you what, it's cold. Don't know if you can see my breath, but it is cold. I'm looking forward to getting this food in me. I'm sure I've said it before, but when you're camping, if you're cold, eat and keep eating. Just keep eating. Alcohol actually isn't good when you're cold. It makes you colder. But if you get enough food in you at the same time, you'll be alright. Actually, spirits seem to make me feel warmer. But beer definitely cools you down. So yeah. Just keep eating. Eat, eat, eat. Be gluttonous. Hot food especially, great. But anything you can get, just fuel. Think of yourself as a wood burner, as a stove. You've got to keep filling her up to get the heat out of it. And if your body's cold, you've got to raise the temperature. And when it burns the food to use for calories, it raises your core temperature. So it's pretty good. You know, there's only so much that warm clothes can do. You've got to fuel up at some point. It's best actually to do it just before you go to bed, because then you'll be nice and toasty in your sleeping bag. Isn't that right, Bruce? Oh. Hello. He's just happy to be out. He's a wet dog. I've got a little micro towel for him. Got that sleeping pad, so he's going to lie on that, and I'm going to put that under the wool blanket. I've got the wool blanket on the floor of the tent. I won't drape the blanket over him because he doesn't like it. He kicks it off. As long as he's dry and he lies on top, he curls up and he's fine. Yeah, I've tried so many times to cover him. He doesn't have any of it. Unless it's really brutal, unless it's very cold. I think I've covered him once or twice when we've been camping out in the snow and we're outside under the tarp, then he will stay under the cover. Yeah, then he does appreciate it. I think I'm just going to eat this in the pan. There's no point dirtying my plate. I mean, usually I'd let him clean up stuff, but he can't clean this up. I think we're good. Yep, we're good. Ragu. Sausage meat. Ragu with pasta. Yum. This is gonna be good. I'm so sorry for him, he can't have any. So I'm gonna put this on my lap and this. It's gonna take the heat. Yeah. So that, there's no sooting at all because I mixed it with the hand sanitizer. No, don't beg, Bruce, you can't have any. I'm sorry. You've had your dinner. No. No. Bed. Salty. That's good. Still raining a little bit. It's very windy up there. It's so good. Oh, and it's so warming. I can hear big wind gusts in the trees. Oh my God, that's so good. This sausage meat is delicious. Got it from my local butcher. Oh, that is a great pairing. I'll be honest, at home I would probably have red wine. I would have a blend, some sort of Cabernet blend. I'm not into Pinot Noir. I like a heavier red. Oh man, excuse me. All right. It's so good, nice and spicy. Oh, I've got to make this for you guys in my next one. I'll show you how to make it. It's so brilliant. I'm in heaven. I'm already feeling warmer. My upper body feeling much warmer now. Oh, it's getting cold there. No fire. It makes a huge difference not having a fire. But this is a no fire zone at all. I'm not allowed to have fires here. You've got to respect the rules, the law. Oh my word, I can't believe how good this is. I can't believe I'm wolfing it all down. It's almost completely gone. It's so good. What sort of food would you guys like to see me make? I've done pretty much everything. I've done the usual that everyone else does, the steak, veggies. Because honestly, that stuff is easy to do. It is very tasty, but it is easy to do. That's why most people do it. There's not much prep. Done the curry, that's a lot of prep. Roast chicken, veggies, not so much prep, done all that. I have done a pasta dish. Pardon me. That's the beer. But, is there anything else you guys would like to see me make? Bearing in mind, some things you have to have a campfire for. Done. That was epic. Oh my, that was so good. Oh. Oh. Hands are cold, but my body's warm. That was so good. You can sense I'm going to get hot now because of the chilies that are in that. So what would you like to see me cook? I've even made pancakes. In fact, I'm making pancakes for breakfast tomorrow. I love pancakes with maple syrup. Or English pancakes with lemon and sugar. Oh. But yeah, don't say anything ridiculously crazy, but something that's good camp food. And here we're in winter, just about in winter, so it's got to be something warming. What is warming? You know what I thought of making? Well, it's kind of difficult, but I was thinking of making a pie with a really good crust. I was thinking of making a steak and ale pie with a good beer and a really good crust on the pie with some vegetables in it and everything. Oh, I love a good pie. Yeah, maybe that's what I should make. But let me know in the comments. It's limited, obviously. Without an oven, you're kind of limited. You can convert the Trangia into sort of an oven, I have done that, but it's small, so that's possible. Oven bake. Another thing I was going to do was fish and chips. Beer, battered fish and chips. And the funny thing is, I was thinking about doing it, and then I saw Camping with Steve, and he did it. I think, what was it, two videos ago? I was like, oh, I was going to do that, but I could still do it. But it did look good. Fish and chips with salt and vinegar. I know in America you have vinegar on your chips. Even here it's rare. But I'm a Brit. And in England we have salt and vinegar on our chips. We don't have mayonnaise on our chips. We don't do that. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, let me know in the comments. Right, that was delicious. Whew. I'm stuffed, but it was good. I might actually have room for dessert. I've got enough pancake mix to have dessert and breakfast. Is that too much? It's too much. I don't think I could finish it, even if I made a pancake for dessert. Alright, we'll see how I feel later. But right now, I think, so I finished that beer, I've got one beer left. But right now, what I really, really want is a hot chocolate. So I need to boil up some water. This is camping. This is winter camping. This is what it's all about. Oh, I didn't even have to touch that. In summer, spring, summer, it's a hell of a lot easier, I tell you. You don't need as much gear. It's so much warmer. There are definitely pros to doing it in summer. Cons are usually it's too damn hot in the tent and there are bugs. Too many bugs. Too many mosquitoes, things like that. Don't have those problems in the winter. Gosh, it's blooming already. Hot chocolate, definitely. Anyone else out there like having a hot chocolate in the evening? You know, the funny thing is, I would never have a hot chocolate in the evening at home. I'd have a herbal tea. But for some reason, the second I'm camping and it's cold, where's the tear thing? I feel like a hot chocolate. Oh my god. Hey, Avalanche, if you're watching this, Avalanche, who make hot chocolates and flat whites, can you please fix your packaging? I'm quite demanding. I have to say, I'm quite the perfectionist. It's like if you're going to do something, do it properly. Do it with some care, some pride. That's probably why I'm so critical of so much gear and equipment. Like, you know, how critical I was about this tarp and how critical I am about the tent. I just don't like seeing half-assed rubbish products. I really don't. And I feel like I'm being ripped off as well. I don't tolerate crap, basically. I don't tolerate stupidity. I don't, you know, I'm not good with that. That's what makes me alpha. That's what makes make me an investment banker. And I don't really tolerate mediocrity when I'm paying for it. Yeah. That's interesting. Bruce walked away when I said I don't tolerate mediocrity and stupidity. He's super intelligent. There's nothing mediocre or stupid about Bruce, except chasing shadows, which is what he's doing now. He is super intelligent. Honestly, he knows so many commands, instructions, words. It's insane. I think they're the most intelligent dog breed in the world, Border Collies. Hot chocolate. I'm looking forward to this. Someone left a comment saying, you know what? I think it was a grandmother in North Carolina. Is it Harriet? Thank you for the message, Harriet. I'm glad you enjoy the videos. And you were desperate to know my name. My name? Oh, hang on. Let me just check the water. My name is Tony. There you go. Now you know my name. Actually, it's Anthony. But Tony for short. People call me Tony. And the A is Anthony. B is Bruce. And there you have AB, outdoors and camping. So call me Tony. There you go, Harriet. Thank you for your sweet message. And now everyone else knows what to call me. It's just started raining again. The wind is picking up again. It's cold, but I feel much warmer now. Right, we'll let this boil, come back to you with my hot chocolate. Everything's better with a hot chocolate. Man, it is cold. I don't know what the temperature is. Should bring a thermometer occasionally on one of these things. But it is cold. I'll look forward to getting in my sleeping bag and my quilt. Oh. Yeah, it's interesting. I do like this setup, but it feels a bit claustrophobic. I am used to just being able to look all around, seeing what's going on, looking at the nature. But with it down like this, I can't see anything. I guess I might as well be in a tent. Yeah, maybe I won't use this configuration again. It's good though, because it does block the wind. Maybe if it's windy, I'd use it. Yeah. There's definitely less headspace, because you can't stand up and move around. I mean, I could have the whole thing tied up a lot higher if there were enough trees around to do that. But it does feel a bit more claustrophobic. The reason I usually have a tarp with me is so I can sit outside of the tent and look out and enjoy the rain or whatever is happening. Just give me more space. But I guess it's okay. It's doing the job. It's definitely warmer sitting under here than it is sitting outside. I'm going to enjoy my hot chocolate. I'm going to just chill. See if I can get some feeling back in my hands. Let's see you when I'm ready for my cigar. Cheers, everybody. It's just started raining again. Time for a cigar. I've got the woolly mammoth blanket out of the tent because it's so warm with this thing. I think this rain is going to be on and off all night. It's flipping freezing. It really is cold. I really appreciate it when I can have a fire. This blanket is so warm, I just don't want to get it dirty. It's toasty under here now. So it's going to get a bit smoky. And Bruce, as usual, is lying out in the rain. Beer number 3, same as last time. Deep Creek Hazy Pale Ale. Cheers. No spirits with me this time. Cutting down on the spirits. Had a few. Need to cut back on them. Actually, the good thing about this is sitting on it, because the chair is really thin material. Oh, that's so good. This blanket is so warm, and I've got it folded, so it's like 4 layers thick. Keeps your hands warm. Yeah, better not. Important comment. Bruce is doing Bruce. He's doing what he does. Well, I tell you what, you really... I think the last few camps, I've had a campfire. And I appreciate it now, just how warm the campfire keeps you. Yeah. Honestly, it doesn't matter how many layers and of clothes you have, blankets, it's never as nice as when you've got a campfire. It just never is. He's made himself a little bed in there. He's dug away all the ferns and he's scooted it all away and he's found a dry patch. And he's been hunkering down there. But now he's just walking back and forth. Okay, he's laid down now. Chilling, if Bruce can ever chill. Yes, I'm talking about you. Oh, it's a cold one. I do like a campfire. But you know what? I wonder how many of you are allowed to have a campfire where you live.
This is probably quite an accurate reflection of camping at early winter, and it is early winter. You can see how cold it is from my breath. It's single digits Celsius, but it's not freezing yet, so it's early, very, very early winter. This is what it would be like for you if you couldn't have a campfire. So in the comments, please tell me whether you're allowed to have campfires where you are or not. My advice is, if it's any colder than this, once you get to 0 centigrade, life is pretty miserable. It will be very miserable without a campfire, unless you're going to live in the tent. Now, if you've got a 4-season tent and you can zip it all the way up and you can stay in there, then fine, you'll be warm enough. You will be warm enough. It will be 10 degrees centigrade warmer, 12, 15 degrees centigrade warmer. But where's the fun in that? Sitting out al fresco is the fun. That's half the fun, most of the fun. And a campfire is crucial for that. So yeah, I'd be interested to know. I've seen a lot of other people camping. And I'd say on public land, let's say guys in the States and Canada, most of them seem to be able to have fires. Yeah. But then if you look at the UK, you hardly ever see anyone with fire unless it's their own land. So there's a lot of restrictions, a lot of places with restrictions. Just like here, there's a lot of restrictions. It's the first time my legs have felt warm since I got here. Yeah. Can't go wrong with a good old wool blanket. This is Woolly Mammoth. The maker of this one. Bruce, calm down. Woolly Mammoth. I got it on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. I love this thing. It's so warm. Bruce loves this. Loves lying on this. It's his, really. Tonight he'll be on it. Watch the video I did where I went hiking and backpacking up a mountain with just a tarp. That was a fantastic trip. I loved that. It was beautiful weather, but it was freezing cold at night. Really cold. I had a survival sleeping bag, like a minus 20 degree, 25 degree, minus 25 degree sleeping bag. The Corinthia Survival 1000. And I bought a bed up the mountain for him. And he just didn't use it. He went and lay straight in the tussocks. And he was covered with these tussocks, bone dry. It's amazing. Yeah. He knows what he wants. He knows how to keep warm if he has to. And if he's really struggling, then he'll come right up to me. Like, Dad, warm me up. And he'll lie on his pad. He just doesn't need to at the moment. I'm rambling. So it's inevitable that I've got to ask also, now that I think lockdowns are coming to an end around the world. I don't know. Look, in New Zealand, we are so shut off from what's going on in the rest of the world. Okay? Because life is normal here. Completely normal. So what's happening everywhere? What's happening in the UK, in Europe, in America? The latest, India, obviously, you guys are struggling. I guess you're in lockdown in India. I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping people can still get out and camp. It kind of seems absurd that during lockdowns you're not allowed to go camping. But I can understand. Emergency services, if they're required, if you call them, then they get exposed. We had the same situation here during lockdown, no camping. And you weren't allowed any boat, out any fun out in the boats or anything like that, because you could be risking people's lives. But I'm hoping it's all coming to an end, because we need to move on. We need to be enjoying the outdoors, and people need to be appreciating their freedom and enjoying this stuff. This is what we're on the planet for, is to be happy. Pursuit of happiness, right? So I really hope, I'd love to know of people who are watching, are you managing to get out? Are you managing to go camping if you want to? Or is this the only thing you can do right now, is watch others go camping? And look, I'm talking to the camera, but I'm talking to everyone, and it's not a lonely thing. I'm here alone with Bruce, but I don't feel alone. I feel like I've got everyone who's watching with me, camping with me. And I love that. It's a really nice feeling to think that there are people with you doing this as well. I think at the time of this video, I've got just over 16,000 subscribers. Obviously, I don't want to go camping with 16,000 physical people. What would you call that? In the UK, I guess you'd call that Glastonbury. In America, I guess you'd call it Woodstock. That's not fun to me. That's not camping. But it is just as muddy. Alright, I'm going to finish my cigar and my beer. And then I think it'll be time to go in the tent, because it's cold and I'd rather be tucked up in the sleeping bag and warm. It'll take me a while to dry him off. Once he's in the tent, once it's zipped up, he will pass out. I promise. He was zonk. So I'll catch you all in the tent. Oh, well, it's bedtime. He's under here. I've got him wrapped up because he's wet. I have dried him off with the towel, but I think it's better to keep him in the blanket, and he'll dry off through this. He did not want to come to bed, really. So, yeah. This is actually interesting. It's got an actual sort of four-season interior, in that the door is completely solid, but there's a mesh part to it here if you wanted to open it in sort of spring, summer up here. But the whole of the top is mesh, so it's not really true four-season. But I can imagine it's pretty windproof. Yeah, you wouldn't feel a breeze in here at all, because it's this fabric all the way around, and there's just mesh at the very top. So there's no breeze at all. The temperature in here is gonna get much warmer. I've left the front door completely open because I've got the tarp there. Don't need to close that really. That helps with any condensation by keeping that open as well. Now the sleeping bag is touching the end, and I'm almost completely up to the edge here. So I've got the same issue again with these short tents. I don't know what's going on with them. Why I can't just... It's because they don't have vertical walls. So yeah, sleeping bag is touching at the foot end. Oh, hands are cold. It is cold night. No, this is a big tent. There's a lot of space in here. This is bigger than the Hilberg Steiker easily. It weighs less because the materials aren't as good. Yeah, the stitching's nowhere near as good. Plus there's this mesh which is lighter. The poles are thinner. I wouldn't trust this thing in a storm. No. This is a fair weather tent. The Naturehike Cloud Tunnel. Yeah. But that's what you expect. It's cheap. It's a cheap tent. These are not what you'd call built for severe conditions. These are fair weather, family sort of, maybe backpacking tents. But they're not a patch on the quality of, say, Hilberg or MSR even. You know, Hilberg is the benchmark. Yeah. I don't like the fact this door closes down here, because you've got to crawl over it all the time. That's going to be a wear and tear item. The floor material is pretty good actually, it's not bad. It does come with a pad, but that's just added weight. But yeah, it's not bad. There's actually a spike spot here, a guy spot here. I don't know why you'd be hitting that constantly. So yeah, you know, a lot of space. This Amok pad, we'll see how it goes. It's huge. So far, feels really comfy. And then this is this Naturehike pillow that they wanted me to test out. This foam pillow. We'll see how that goes. So far, all seems okay. But you don't know until it's the middle of the night and you're trying to get to sleep and you just can't, or you wake up and you're not comfy, and yeah. Right, I'm going to hit the sack. I doubt anything major is going to happen. There's no real heavy rain forecast or anything. So we'll see you in the morning. And he's already asleep. He's going to be too hot under this double layer blanket, but he'll kick it off when he feels like it. Won't you, Brucie? Oh, he's asleep. All right. Good night, everybody. It's just started raining. It's a little bit of heavy stuff. It's gone quiet again, but I think it's going to get heavier. I hope that we're not going to get any dripping through here, through the roof. Should be okay. He's completely zonked out. Not paying any attention to the rain at all. And it just stopped just as I turned the camera on. I'm going to go back to sleep. I'll leave you to listen to the sound of the rain. Really coming down now. I'm hoping it doesn't pool on top here. It looks okay. I haven't checked the tarp yet. I'm assuming that's alright as well. It's on a ridge line, there's not much that can happen. Well, so much for it stopping raining. Not bothering him, he's fast asleep. He just grumbled. Turned over, he's nice and toasty under his blanket. And it's good because it's drying him off as well. Alright. Now I'm going to try and get some sleep. I can hear it falling on the tarp. It's quite loud. Okay, I don't think I'm going to record anymore, so I'll see you in the morning. Good night, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Brucie. Lie down. Did you sleep well? Hang on, come up here. Come up here. Come up here, Butler. Good boy. Morning. Well, Bruce is nice and dry now. Yeah, sure enough, he kicked his blanket off though, about halfway through the night. No, I kept tossing and turning all night, but I did sleep well. In the end, it turns out. I can see through the top now that the mesh is touching the roof of the tent. It didn't drip though, luckily. There's no condensation. Not much in here. Because we've got the front door open. Bruce, no. Don't pour. Lie down. Morning. Oh, this routine. It loves it. I'm so happy to see you in the mornings. Right. It's not quite 8 o'clock yet. I think it's 7:30, so it's time to get up and have a coffee. And breakfast. And he'll want his breakfast. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you for my kisses. I know. You want to cuddle first, don't you, before breakfast? He wants his cuddles. Okay. I see he's pulled my shirt over, squished up, and he's been lying on it, his head on my shirt. I don't know why he does that. He loves a good tummy scratch in the morning. Right, it's coffee time. See you out there for coffees. Oh, a down dog. Should we open up? See what it's like outside. Hang on, Bruce. He's gone already. Oh well, the tarp stood up to it. Oh, you see the... I don't like this door. Falls outside. Now it's got mud on it. It's just a crap design. Not a fan of the tent at all. I like this aspect to it. Lengthways, you can sit out. But no. I prefer a dome tent. It's very wet out there. It chucked down all night. Right. Coffee time. See some water, Bruce. Breakfast. Bruce wants his breakfast. It's a lovely morning. Not a cloud in the sky. So I thought I'd fold the tarp back. Because I haven't got any overhanging trees to drip on me. I know you want your breakfast. I know you do. And I'm having another breakfast you can't have. I've got pancakes for breakfast. It's chilly this morning. Yeah, Bruce has a very high protein working dog breakfast by IAMS. Wait, sit. It's three times as much energy in this as there is in normal dog kibble. I wouldn't give it to your normal household golden retriever, would I? You need this because you're bouncing off the walls all the time. Go on then. Actually, let me move you over here a bit. Hey, good boy. Right, I need to get coffee on. Doesn't need it, but I'm going to top that fuel up because pancakes take a while. Now this stuff doesn't light that well when it's cold. And it's cold. If it won't light, then I'll stick a wick of tissue in there and that will light, but we'll see how we get on. No, that didn't light. So, toilet roll to the rescue. A single sheet of toilet roll. Twist it up, like so. Stick that in. That should do the trick. So gradually the liquid is catching because of the wick. Just needs to come up to temperature. It's pretty cold. Zoom that in a bit so you can see the wick has actually caught the flame. Now you don't have to leave the wick in there. You can take that out. In fact, I might do that. Because what that does is it just gets a bit ashy and messy at the bottom. Let that burn out on the floor. So the ground is soaking wet, so it's not a problem. You can see how long it burns. Well, I don't know if you can actually, but it's burning on the floor. Because it's full of meths, it burns quite a while. Water. Nice crystal clear stream, spring water. Oh, okay, It's cold. I'm not that cold though, actually. A couple of observations. My sleeping bag was drenched on the outside, soaked at the foot end, and the side wall where I've been touching. And so the inner tent was full of condensation, after all. I hadn't really noticed. Even with this completely open up here, this whole door, the inner tent had loads of condensation on it. Because the back of the tent, the flaps that come with it for venting, it was just flat. There was no airflow. No airflow at all. So everything is wet in there. Just not enough ventilation. Ventilation is the most important thing after waterproofness in a tent. He's checking for predators. And yeah, it was just, yeah, this tent doesn't do the job. I can't recommend this tent at all. I've never seen anyone else review it. The Naturehike Cloud Tunnel. And I'm glad I didn't have to spend any money on it. That's for sure. Look, the condensation is bad here. We're by a stream, it was chucking down all night, and there's condensation under the tarp. Loads of it. You can see it dripping. Look at that. Of course it's not dripping on me. But with enough ventilation in the tent, that shouldn't be a problem. And that was pretty bad in there. Okay, I had a wet dog in there with me as well, but I mean, my sleeping bag was drenched. So what if you've got another day of rain? How do you dry your sleeping bag out? So no, I don't recommend it at all. I might drop this tarp now actually. Let me do that. It's not even windy, so. There. Just the ridge line holding it up. I don't know if you can see the ridge line here, coming back to the tent. Oops. There we go. That's better. See, that's the beauty of the tarp. That is a nice thing about having a ridge line for it as well, is if it stops raining and you're not under trees, obviously you don't want to be under trees, just pull it out of the way and you suddenly feel open to nature, no matter how cold it is, which it is cold. It hasn't bloomed yet. It's taking a while to get up to temperature. And then when it starts raining, spitting, chucking down, whatever, pull the tarp back over. It's my idea of good camping. The Amok Fuel Winter Light sleeping pad, very comfortable. I liked it. Is it as comfortable as the Neo Air Xtherm Max? It's the same to me. They felt pretty much the same. I couldn't really notice any difference. But I think the Xtherm is lighter, just slightly, and slightly smaller. The Max, I can't remember. I think it is. So, but this is designed not really for tenting. It's designed for the hammock. The Amok hammock. So we'll try that next. That Naturehike pillow, yeah, it was good. I liked it actually. It's a shame it doesn't have a non-slip surface at the bottom underneath, so it can grip. What everyone should do is put silicone beads on everything underneath, so it can bite. It can bind the pad. Yeah, that would be nice. I'll have to do that myself probably. The wool blanket was nice. Brucie loved that, and he was on his little pad. Yeah, he kicked the blanket off him quite early actually, because he was hot, and he just lay on top of it. Other than that, I don't think there was anything else to report from him there. No. I'm just not a fan of this tent. I don't like the door. Look at this. Just flopping on the floor. You've got to curl it up and tie it up, and you're constantly walking over it. If you don't, you catch it. When you open it, it falls in the mud. No, I don't like that at all. I wonder if the Fuel Raven does, not the Fuel Raven, the Hilleberg Namage. I wonder if that's the same. It's just in the way. And there's no way of getting it out of the way. There's no bottom zip at all. It's just this one big top zip. So no, I'm not a fan of that. This seems like a stress point to me, that eventually that will break, crawling in and out over it. And you're constantly catching it. It's just going to get filthy. You can't see it, but the top of the tent is touching the inner, completely resting on it. It's tight, sitting on it. And that's wet. I am giving this Naturehike cloud tent, cloud tunnel, a big thumbs down fail. Hey, what's up? There's no such thing as seconds. Not second breakfast, it's not for you. No. Hello, thank you. You're wet. Hey? Why don't you find me a stick and I'll throw you a stick. Go and find a stick. There's no stick here. There isn't. No. You're so lazy. Go and chase some goats. Or get me a stick. Get the stick. Where's the stick? No. Because he knows I'm going to be cooking some breakfast. So yes, no, that's a big fail on this tent. No, don't recommend it at all. Maybe for perfect sunny summer conditions, it might do a good job, but again, I don't know how you're going to get ventilation going. There's just not enough venting. And I don't think you can set this up with just the inner. You probably could, actually. Yeah, you probably could just set it up with the inner. But is it worth it? I don't think I've ever travelled anywhere with just an inner tent. I've never been that confident of the weather forecast. So, okay. We're done with the Naturehike. That's a no. Sorry, Naturehike. I know you sent it to me. And they actually asked me, which one do you want to try out? I said, well, I've seen so many reviews of up this, up that, up yours, whatever. But I'd never seen a review for this tent, and I was looking at maybe getting the Hilleberg Namage for myself. And I thought, well, that looks exactly like the Namage. So I'll try it. Let's see what it's like. Let's see what this $100 or $200, what is it, $150 this tent is like versus a $1,000 tent. Now I know the answer to that. And you know what? I've definitely made a decision. I'm not testing out any more tents. Because I don't get offered to test tents from Europe at all. Because you know why? I think they don't need the tests. I think they know they're good products. I'd love it if Hilleberg asked me to test out some of their tents. I would take them and test them, but they don't need me to do that. They know what they're doing. So it's not specifically against Chinese tents. I'm just not going to test them anymore. I want to have a good camping trip, and I just don't think these tents are these Chinese tents are up to the same quality as, say, Hilleberg or MSR. And I like my MSR. MSR, if you want to send me a tent to test, I'll do that. So this is the last one I'm doing. I've got another Chinese-made tent that someone has sent me to test, but I know that's going to be the same sort of fail. And so I just can't be bothered. I'm not going to do it. I'll test the tech gear and things, you know, see how they are, the headlamps and things like that. But yeah. Right, for breakfast, after my coffee, I'm doing pancakes again. because it was such a huge success last time. I don't know if you saw that, where I camped with Bruce in the pine trees and I made pancakes. And I didn't have a spatula. And they got really stuck and it looked really bad, but they tasted good. So this time I've got buttermilk pancakes. And I'm cheating. But I like cheating. If it makes my life a bit easier cooking. Ah, now this is interesting. We've got a weka has decided to join us. So a weka looks like a kiwi bird, which are very, very rare. You don't often see them. And it's the same size pretty much as a kiwi. If I get up, he's going to run away. So I can't really turn the camera to show you. But you might see him pop out round the side of the tent. Brown bird. Bruce hates them. He doesn't chase them, but he doesn't like them. There's no way to do this on camera without looking rude. So this is Edmund's mix, and it's stuck at the bottom of the thing. I don't know how I'm going to get that out. So I found leaving it to sit cold once you've done this is a bit better. Once it's mixed, I can feel it building up with pressure. I'm going to relieve some. There you go. Oh, and my coffee. Desperate for my coffee. While I'm in a cheating mood, I'm going to have a Jed's coffee bag. I love these things. Jed's is a company in New Zealand, and they make nice coffee. And for convenience sake, they do them in coffee bags as well. And sometimes I make cowboy coffee, if I can summon the energy. I didn't bring my little table. I don't know why. I screwed up. How are we looking here? Oh, it's blooming now. Okay. Oh, it's nice to get out. It's cold. It is nice to get out. It's nice to be out in the bush. And this is out in the bush. I've got a paddock just over to the right there. All sorts of wild animals roaming through it. Pigs and deer and weka. It's nice to have this stream. The sound of the stream is really nice. It's very soothing. The only downside is I'm not allowed to light a fire. Okay. And for this I'm going to use the simmering. It's the last time I burnt the pancakes. And this time I've got a spatula, which should make all the difference in the world. I wasn't going to lug out a non-stick pan. Some vegetable oil. Need a fair bit of that, stop it sticking. Really got to work out a way to do this without it completely getting jammed up in the pan. Bruce is gone. Get this hot enough so that it's ready. Okay, I think that's ready. I'm on a slight dip, but there's not much I can do about it. Okay. Pancake time. Are we going big? I think we're going big. Let's go really big. Just spilled some. How much would I bet this is going to stick badly? Again. Got batter on it. Right, coffee. Desperate. I think the hand sanitizer has got lavender on it. Lavender in it. So I can. It's the best smelling cooking stove you've ever had. You have to keep an eye out for this wecker. It comes and goes. Right, I'm going to have to keep rotating this because it's not like that. Not like that. There you go. Sort of going back down that way a bit. That'll work. I guess the good thing with pancakes is you just leave them. Not much else to do except flip them at the end, but I can't. I know it won't flip. Oh, morning coffee. Oh, that is so nice. Can you imagine doing this on gas? The roar of the gas when you've got the sound, the beautiful sound of the stream, and the peace and quiet around you. Everyone would know you were here as well. If anyone was walking by on a footpath or something like that, it's not very stealthy, is it? You'd have to have the gas on really, really low. It's just so nice doing it on the Trangia. Okay, while this is happening, I am going to take the guy line and the tarp down and leave this to bubble a bit. So look at what I'm talking about here. This is the top of the tent. And you can actually see where it's resting on the inner. Look at that. So pull it off it. Look at that, it's stuck. And it just sits on it again. If you could straighten it somehow, like that, all my force, then maybe it would work. But you can't. There's nowhere. These are at breaking point down here. This is, I mean, there is no way this is going to get any better. And this is what I'm talking about. The vents just aren't open enough. Look at that. It's actually stuck. Look at that. The vent is stuck to the mesh. That's where it's meant to be venting. It's meant to be like that. And you can't.
there's nothing to prop it open, nothing to hold it up. So the whole thing is closed. No wonder it was soaking inside. This is not a good product. It has many flaws. Okay, we're getting all the right smells because Bruce has suddenly become very interested. It doesn't appear to be stuck, but also it's nowhere near ready for turning. As long as it doesn't burn. Bruce, what are you doing? Have you got a stick? Go find a stick. I don't need to usually find him a stick. He can usually find one himself. But he doesn't pass it. Oh, this is sticking. It's sticking. I'm going to leave this to the last minute. Right, I've got rid of the tarp, taken down the ridgeline. Just the tent to go. I hate packing up wet gear, it's horrible. And your pack weighs so much more. Sounds silly, but it does. And you've got to hang it all out so much longer when you get home. And you have to take everything out. Everything. Sleeping pad, sleeping bag, tent, tarp, all the guy lines, pegs, everything needs to be dried off. Yeah, it's a big faff. Feels like it's getting colder. It's definitely single digits. God, I could do with a fire. But the warmth from this Trangia is actually quite nice. It's kicking off quite a lot of heat, even though I've got the simmer ring on it. Oh, it's at the moment of truth. Am I going to flip this? Do I try and flip it? Not a chance. If it was non-stick pan, then yeah, this is going to be ugly, everyone. I'm sorry, there's no two ways about it. This is going to be just as ugly as the last time I did it. It's not going to flip. No way. Still got some cooking to do on this side as well. I think last time I turned it too early. Oh, it is cold. This is probably the biggest manuka tree I've ever seen in my life. That one that I showed you by the river, by the stream. It's gigantic. Be interested to know in the comments what you like, what scenery you like the most when I go camping. Is it? Obviously you mostly like the rain. Some of you like sunshine camping and maybe snow camping, but scenery wise, do you like it in the bush like this? Very closed in. Do you like it in the pine forest, which are pine plantations, with, you know, the beautiful pine trees and pine needles on the ground? Or do you like it when I do sort of near the mountaintops and the ridges, where then I have the huge open vistas and spaces? What do you prefer? Let me know. I've got to have another coffee. While the water is still hot in the kettle. Where do I put that? I'm not watching my pancake very well, am I? Because I know it's going to be a mess.
mess here. Why didn't I bring my little table? I don't know. Alright, I can't put this off any longer. I've got to deal with it. I'm sure I do. It's stuck. It's completely stuck. Oh no, not again. Yeah, it's completely stuck. So what we've got here is pancake goo. Again, fail. It's taking all my effort to get it off the flipping aluminium. I've got to get a non-stick pan next time to do this. Every time. I wonder what the secret is. It's not using non-stick, or can you not do it without non-stick? Hey, it's a good colour. I've got to say, after last time, remember I said, oh, the crispy bits were nice. Actually, the crispy bits are nice. Right. Listen, when the whole thing is cooked up and covered in maple syrup, it doesn't really matter what it looks like. Mulch. I bet Bruce has that bit that's on the floor. Does that look appetizing? I'm telling you, it's still going to taste absolutely superb. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It will taste excellent. I guarantee it. You put enough maple syrup on anything and it will taste excellent. I tell you, the other good thing about having a fire is you have a lot less rubbish to take back. Because you can burn all the papery stuff. And things like, you know, coffee bags, tea bags and stuff like that. I know that Trangia do a non-stick version, I just can't bring myself to use. Well, you wonder how long the non-stick surface would last. Obviously you've got to use a plastic spatula if you do that. I wonder if Trangia do not just, you can buy a non-stick fry pan for this Trangia 25. I wonder. Can someone let me know in the comment? Can you buy a non-stick pan just by itself for the Trangia 25? Put it in the comments. Or Trangia, if you want me to test it for you, please send it to me. I'd be happy to make pancakes on your non-stick and really sell it for you. Should I take a photo of that and send it to Trangia and see if I can get on their Instagram page? You know what, I'm going to do that. Take a photo. And I'm going to send it to Trangia and I'll let you all know what happens. Yum. And that's our challenge. Okay? I'm going to send that to Trangia for their Instagram and see if they post it. And I'll tell you what, I'll put it on my Instagram account. And I won't do it until I've posted this video, obviously. And if as many of you as possible, please like it on Instagram and tag Trangia and say, wow, this is great. Send the guy a non-stick pan to test for you. Best subscribers in the world if you get that done. Okay. It's time. Oh, crap. I wish there was a locking mechanism so you didn't have to do this all the time. Because I don't like this handle. It transmits the heat. Mmm. Scrapey crispy bits. Oops, I might have done this bit too long. Yeah. Okay, I can't show it to you like this. It looks too doughy. Okay. There. That's how you clean your pan. Okay, maple syrup. Maple syrup. Pure maple syrup. I won't send them that picture. Look, I guarantee you it's still going to taste superb. Trust me on this, everyone. I know what I'm talking about. I told you it's going to be delicious. It doesn't have to look pretty, honestly. It's camping. The only thing that has to look good is your tent and tarp setup. The rest doesn't matter. Bruce has seen the Wecker. Good boy. He's looking at it, but he knows he's not allowed to chase. He's been trained to just ignore them. It's called avian training. That was really good. I've got some fantastic pure Canadian maple syrup. I think Bruce would actually like this pan. He'd do a great job of cleaning that out. Once it's cooled down, I might let him do that. He's a very good dishwasher. What I'm doing there, just keeping the rest of the water hot. How much is left? Just want enough for one more coffee. Oh. I was thinking of doing a, because I do get a lot of questions, I do get a lot of comments, and I really try my hardest to respond to everything. I don't know if anybody's noticed, I really do try my hardest. Every video gets anything from 500 to 1,000 comments, and as long as I keep on top of it day by day, I can try and answer all of them. But if I'm doing a 3-night or a 2-night camping trip and I've got no mobile signal, I can't respond to the comments. I get back and there's just 300 comments, 400 comments, 500 comments. So it takes me a while, but I do try, I really do. I know you've put the effort in to make a comment, so I try and make the effort to respond. I think when other YouTubers sort of completely ignore the comments, I don't think it's fair that, you know, they want you to watch it, they want you to watch the ads to make an income, then, you know, I think they should respond. I think it's the right thing to do. It's like the community tab. I love the community tab. I feel it's a great way to talk to subscribers, and you have to subscribe to see those messages on the community tab. And I try to post way more stuff and information on the community tab than I put on the videos as well. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want people to unsubscribe because they're sick to death of that. But hopefully that's something people like. When I put a poll out, it usually gets over 1,000 votes. And so I'll keep doing that. This was a win. I don't care what that looked like. That was delicious. My dishwasher will be to the rescue again. Oh, that really hit the spot. Oh yeah. Okay. I think I've rambled long enough. I've got to pack all this away. Do you want to see Bruce cleaning the plates? He's just behind the camera. He's looking away. He's not looking at me at all. He's looking at weckers and things. So I wonder where Bruce the dishwasher is. I wonder if Bruce wants something from the dishes. Will come and clean the dishes. What do you think, Brucie? Do you want to come and clean the dishes? I don't mind if I do. Savouring it. He's being so gentle. He's going to have to get his teeth into a bit of it though. Just like that. Gets his teeth out. Oh no, it's moving. Don't want it moving over here because the tranche is on. I'll put my foot on it for you. He's getting his teeth. He's scraping the... He likes the crispy bits too, see? So I did that for Bruce. I burnt the pancakes purely so that Bruce had something to get his teeth into. I'm a great owner. All for Bruce. Oh, he's onto my plate now. might have some remnants of some maple syrup in it. Okay. Ooh, I might have burst the bag on that one. Yeah, I think I did. Right, I think one more coffee. And we're golden. Bruce, away from the flame. Even though you're soaking wet, I don't want you catching fire. Hot. I need to loosen this up so it's easier to do this. Okay. Oh, it's still alight. How's that possible? Oh, there you go. It's gone out. That was weird. Found a little hole. Okay, it's out now. I need all that to cool down. Bruce! Have you cleaned my plate? Is the plate clean? If I walked away and came back, the plate would have probably pushed it all the way into the stream. I'm sure the some of you aren't dog people. Might be cat people instead, or just might not even like pets, animals at all. But I love him, and it's not the same camping without him. Feels like something's missing. He's such a character as well. He's a dishevelled character with bits of fern and things stuck in his fur. I'm going to be in trouble again. He was so clean and fluffy, and his whites were white, and now he's lying down in the mud. But he's covered in everything because he keeps making little beds. There's a bed here, there's a bed over there. He just loves it. I'd bring his mat out and he'd lie next to it, just to spite me. Just because he knows I've got to clean him. Maybe it's Anne's turn to clean him. Right, I'm going to sip my last coffee and then break down camp. Right, just a tent to do now. And I can report that it is wet in the tent. Dripping in there. It's raining in the tent. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish piece of equipment. What were Naturehike thinking? And I thought they were going to be a great brand. For China, anyway. I can safely say I will never ever be using this tent again. These connectors, everything is cheaply done. No elastic at all. The zips catch. In fact, the zips caught here already. Look, caught straight away. Oh my God, look, it's caught. Ah, come on. This is junk. And I can't imagine the other Naturehike tents are any better. I'm sorry. If this is not acceptable, look at this. It's not an acceptable standard. And look at this flap, look, that's meant to be your vent. What's that going to do? Look at that, it's rubbish. That's meant to be like way open. But there's nothing here to open it. Nothing. That's it. That's pathetic. What a pile of rubbish this is. Oh. Now I've got to carry it all the way home. Great. Well, this is the last Chinese tent I'm testing. I'm not going through that again. I'm not reviewing rubbish. I'm not reviewing cheap. I'll review great value, but it's got to be a quality product. I'm not doing it otherwise. And this is not a quality product. If you're on a budget and you've got no choice, and you need a tent, my advice is to find a good quality product that's second hand. Get it on eBay or something. Don't bother buying brand new if all you can afford is this, because you might just regret it if there's a storm. Oh, if you're camping in your back garden, fine. This would be absolutely fine. But honestly, it's too risky. Oh, it's wet. It's wet inside. What are you going to do if you get soaking wet inside your tent? And it's freezing cold if the temperature drops. So disappointing. Who's quality testing these things? That's what I want to know. Who are they employing to design this stuff? And then to go out and test it. Oh look, it's come apart. It should be able to pull through without coming apart straight away. Because this elastic's going to snap otherwise. The downside of these sorts of tents with the sleeves. It is cold, I can't feel my hands at all. When you're packing gear away that's wet and cold, oh my god, it's the coldest time you'll ever have. It's like when it's snowing and you're packing away gear covered in snow. I have got gloves, but you just can't feel what you're doing properly. Yeah, honestly, junk. I'm sure Naturehike are regretting sending me this now. But not my problem, pals. You came to me asking for collaboration. I'm sorry, I'm not collaborating anymore. Well, I'm not going to review any of your products anymore. The pillow, that was alright. I'm going to stick with that stuff, fine, but I'm not doing tents. And it makes me seriously question these reviews out there on these other tents, these other Naturehike tents. What do they call the cloud up and stuff like that? It makes me question the motives. Just to get more free gear? Sponsors? I don't know. I can't even bother to wrap this properly. Maybe it should just go straight in the bin. But I think if you get wet in your tent, you could be in real trouble. Wet sleeping bag, hypothermia. I don't even want to wrap this thing up. You're going to have to just to fit it in. I might just tie this to the bottom of my sleeping bag. To the bottom of my backpack. Such a disappointment. This is the Naturehike Cloud Tunnel 2-man tent. Very spacious inside, I have to say. If you're looking for a very spacious summer only, definitely not going to rain situation, then fine. But again, you're going to be covered in condensation because the ventilation just doesn't work. So again, what's the point? Get second-hand. Get a second-hand MSR, Hilberg, North Face. I don't know many of the other brands. I can't recommend them because I've never tested them. I see in the UK a lot of people have a Vango. I don't know what that is. Hopefully they're better than DD hammocks, because their quality isn't very good. Like this thing, my DD hammock tarp, I've told you before, I've been on a rant about it. Looks like the seam sealing was done by a 5-year-old. And that's being disrespectful to 5-year-olds. Okay, finally. Yeah. Don't think I'm going to win any friends at Naturehike. If there was a bin here right now, I think I'd just put it in it. This pack, this Tatonka Bison 9010, awesome piece of kit, very expensive, but brilliant, so well built. Never had a problem with it. Never had water leaking into it. I do use a cover, rain cover. I tell you, if it's light rain, this is waterproofed enough. It just deals with it. Again, it's a quality piece of kit, this. You can tell how disappointed I am in this tent. I had high hopes, really did. I've heard so many good things. Now I question every single one of those reviews I see online. Thank God I didn't spend my own money on it. Bruce agrees. Okay, let's put Brucie's backpack on. Okay. Stable. Ah, right everybody. Hey Bruce, come back. Wait, we've got to say goodbye to everybody. Hang on, come and sit down here. Well, thanks for joining us on this one. It's been fun. It's been a bit of a gear fail. But look, we had some great food. Bruce had a great time. Lovely sounds. We had some rain. We were out in the bush and just thankful for that during these crazy times. This is what it's all about. Get out there and do it no matter what opportunity you've got. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing so you get more notifications. Bruce and I are on Buy Me a Coffee. You can find the link on our website if you want to contribute to buying a beer for me or buying Brucie a treat or a toy. You can just contribute to Buy Me a Coffee. The link is on our YouTube channel and in the description. So again, thanks everyone for coming. We'll catch you next time. Bruce is standing under the camera. Come on Bruce, come here. I can't believe you're that ready to go home. Aren't you? So ready to go home. Alright, bye everybody.